Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. Okay, so we got the assassin, and I want to talk about a lot of the things that have been going on today, and it's really, of course, it's great news that we got this monster. But what's going on in the media, and I saw Shannon Bream, in my opinion, play into this on Fox News, and it's outrageous to me, okay? They're talking, and Shannon Bream is putting together some, she does the Fox News Sunday show, and she's putting together a round table where Republicans and Democrats are going to come together and agree to tone things down. Republicans aren't the ones that have amped things up. MAGA has not amped things up. It is the left. Right? They just assassinated one of our top people, next to President Trump, arguably the number one most important person in the MAGA movement. The left. The Minneapolis shooter, another leftist, murdered babies praying in the church. They shot President Trump in Butler. His second attempted assassin from the golf course is on trial right now as we speak here in Florida, in Fort Pierce, Florida. So, the Republicans, they get together and talk about how both sides need to turn down the volume is like some admission of something that's not true, that MAGA is violent. And that's not the case. I was watching something I never do, all right? I watched, for a few minutes, I watched a liberal show on YouTube, Sam Cedar. And I don't watch liberal stuff, but I wanted to hear what their reaction was to us getting this assassin. And he was talking about, well, Trump's got to say what he says so that his people know to the MAGA is non-violent. Words are not violence. And by the way, the words that MAGA are using are opinions about the social issues in our country today. They're not words inciting violence. And you look at the Charlie Kirk assassin, which had the fascist talk on his weapons, hey fascist, and all of that. They have been calling how many people have you heard call me on this program? These liberals call in and call me a fascist. The mainstream media have been calling President Trump a fascist. See, you have freedom of speech so long as you're not inciting others with that speech to harm others. And what the left have been doing, the Democrats and their allies in the mainstream media, what they've been doing is inciting violence. They've been inciting violence for years, and this fascist talk is a part of that. You tell these idiotic followers on the left that the person that's the president of the United States and his top people are fascist, that they are, when you say fascist, people think Hitler for good reason. So they have brainwashed, I don't want to know how many millions of young liberals out there. They've brainwashed them into thinking that MAGA people, that President Trump is the leader of a white supremacist movement. This has been going on for years. This isn't new, but now things are starting to bubble over. Charlie Kirk in particular, I saw today Glenn Beck picked up on something that I've been telling you guys. Charlie Kirk was a civil rights leader, as is President Trump. And Charlie Kirk modeled his entire Turning Point movement in many ways after Martin Luther King's nonviolent, peaceful protest. He was doing it on the college campuses because he wanted to educate and flip these mindless kids that are being brainwashed in the colleges into conservative, and he's had great success, obviously. And he would do it peacefully with debate. What they've been doing on the left is inciting violence. And by the way, this has been going on for years. You may remember after the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict, Joy Reid drove that monster to drive his truck at a high speed through that Christmas parade in Wisconsin, killing people. Remember that? Chilling video. There was a child about 2 years old that barely was missed by that speeding truck. That was a racial hate crime that was inspired by MSNBC. Remember that? It's been forgotten. No one's mentioned that when they've been listing all these things this week. So, no, if Republicans were violent, if the MAGA movement was a violent movement, I wouldn't be a part of that. Either would you. Either would President Trump. Either would Charlie Kirk have been. And if something like that happened, if somebody stood up out of line like that, we would clamp down on it, condemn them, and stop it immediately. So sitting around and saying, see, this is what it was like being a Republican before Trump came down the escalator, okay? A lot of these Republicans, okay, we got to sit down, we got to talk, we got to tone down the rhetoric on both sides. This is what I've told you. Before Trump, the Newt Gingrich era, Newt Gingrich sucked, okay? He sucked. And all those Republicans sucked. And what they would do is this crap. They would let Republicans be defined by these jerks in the media and the Democrats, and they'd sit around and apologize for being conservatives when they had done nothing wrong. And a lot of Republicans are about to do that now. We've done nothing wrong. They're the ones that are killing people, shooting people, trying to shoot others. I just saw a thing today. Some ICE agents were nearly killed by some of the liberal dreamers, the illegals. It's in the news right now. It just happened today. Even if you go back to Columbine, if you remember those monsters, Klebold and Harris, tracked down the girl that was the head of the Columbine Bible Club and made her pray and then killed her. Remember that? So, no, we don't have anything to tone down because we are a non-peaceful movement. Now, with all that being said, there's always Republicans out there that want to go out and apologize for being a conservative. Believing that children should not have sex change operations, saying that, as Charlie Kirk did and others, is not a weapon. That is not violence. And this monster that they got, I'm going to go through this article. This is, by the way, am I the only one who thinks that he doesn't really look so much like that picture they gave us? I mean, And I also want to say this, and I'm not alone in this. The great Steve Bannon made some reference to this. Why did it take so long for this dad to turn his kid in? When did he know that the gun was missing? When did he know that his son was the shooter? When did he know that was his son on those photographs on television? By the way, the rest of the family too. All right, what's going on here? I'm not satisfied with this story we're getting right now. Are you? If that was your, there's not a person in America who did not see those images yesterday. And the dad didn't turn him in till 10 o'clock at night. I'm calling BS on that one. What was going on there? And when, in the last couple of days, did people in that family know? They got this young guy. He's over 200 miles away from the house. The rifle's missing. No one knew. Now, I'm not saying that the family was involved in what happened. What I'm talking about is after the fact. That's what I'm talking about. Now, if you're new to the program, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Anytime I'm live streaming in the studio, I am taking live calls. So if you're watching live, the toll-free number is pinned in the live chat, and you can call me right here. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. So there's something up with this story. There's this thing about that the president talked about today that some type of minister recognized him and knew this ATF agent, and then they called the dad. No, they knew. They knew long before all that crap because, first off, they're in Utah. I mean, everybody in the world was following this. Everybody in the United States was following it, but especially in Utah. And this was not a MAGA family, as they're saying. This was a Trump-hating family from everything that is coming out. All right, I'll take some calls, and I'll go through some of the articles and such as we go on. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name's Eric. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, and I just had a question about something you just said. You were saying that it took a while for them to say anything about their own son. And the only thing about that is, I just wanted to ask, if it was your own son, what would you have done?
I don't have a son, but if my child had murdered someone, I would turn them in.
I understand. Well,
I would not be an accessory to murder. I heard your little sound machine in the background. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. This is Terry calling you from Kentucky. With all this animalistic behavior, I guess maybe is a good way that what our country has turned to. First and foremost, we've asked for God. I say we, just in general. I'm a Christian. But we asked for God to be out of our schools. We asked for God to be out of
No, we didn't ask. We didn't ask. No. The godless liberals did it, and a bunch of conservatives.
True. Okay.
A bunch of conservatives that are going to go on these panel shows this weekend that I've been talking about. They allowed it to happen. I remember they took prayer out of school when Ronald Reagan was president.
Right. I remember the Madeline Murray O'Hare.
Yeah, so don't do this. Because I was talking earlier in the week when I was young in school. They would pray in school, that not just at football games. There was all kinds of things that happened that were pro-Christian. They still had, So no, I don't like that we.
Don't like the we. Okay, we'll leave the we out of it. But all of us are reaping what has been sowed. My main focus would be, I hope they get this story correct and we figure it out, because you saying the world was watching, the world is watching. I follow a family in Iran that lives up in the Zagros Mountains. They asked me when I come on their channel the other day, what is going on with Charlie, and they didn't know his name, but they said Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
And people all over are watching this, and I'm just afraid that there's so much cover up going on.
I still stick to everything I've said this week. Charlie Kirk was the most effective person in the MAGA movement, second only to the president. And I don't think it's a coincidence that the number one guy who's outside of the president himself, they assassinated. This is a major blow to this country and to our movement beyond just the loss that we're suffering. It's a big blow to our great MAGA movement.
I agree 100%. I just hope that we get all this kind of bottled up and figured out. I'm not rest assured that it's going to happen. And I tell you, I'm not going to apologize for being who I am. I'm not going to apologize for being a MAGA supporter. And I'm not going to support, like they wanted us to do with the Black Lives Movement, I'm not going to, be sorry for being born into a Caucasian family. I'm just not.
I know. And, all right, well, I appreciate the call. Yeah. If you're on hold, hang in there. The number is, if you're watching live, the number to call in is toll-free no matter where you're watching. And it's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. This guy this monster assassin was incited to this violent act by the rhetoric of the left and the media, who have spent years calling the MAGA movement and our president and our leaders fascist. All right? That is a fact. You know, and when you have young minds that you've been telling, you know, listen, when President Trump came down the escalator, this assassin was like 11 or 12. He knows nothing other than Trump. He's too young to be following issues then. His entire life that he has is Trump. And what has this assassin been hearing? He's been hearing that Trump's a fascist, Trump's a racist, Charlie Kirk is a white supremacist. You know, if your country has been taken over by Hitler and the Ku Klux Klan, you don't feel like you're doing something wrong when you do something like this. And you understand, they have brainwashed a lot of people, the liberals out there. And this is the result of it, just like in Butler, just like at the golf course, the school a couple of weeks ago in Minneapolis. It's all because of the left. And they can't admit it on television. It pains them to share that he had this fascist rhetoric on his weapon. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Alan from New York.
Hey, Alan.
Hey, I was listening to James Carville about 3 weeks ago. It was on a podcast, and I thought he was like making threats over. He was on a podcast called.
I don't give out the name, but what was he saying? I vaguely remember this. I can't remember exactly what he said. What was James Carville saying?
Well, yeah, he said that in about three weeks to a month, the president and his supporters. I can't exactly.
Well, don't. If you don't remember, don't say it. Don't paraphrase. But yeah, but it's too important to not have it right. Okay.
Okay, and second of all, about 4 months ago, a co-worker of mine was playing a podcast in our break room at work, and it was really radical stuff. And the guy is an older guy, but I told him nicely not to play it, and it's a really bad podcast. It's on the, I believe, Apple Network, and they should take it down. It's called Mother's Country Radical.
Why, if it's so bad, why are you giving out the name? Why are you giving all this publicity? Yeah, I don't trust that guy. He's all these terrible podcasts, and he's telling you where to listen. They're so bad they shouldn't be listened to. But this is the name, and this is where it's at. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to talk about Dr. Philip Appleton. If you're in pain, go see Dr. Appleton. We've had listeners travel from all over the United States to see Dr. Appleton. His laser wave pain treatment works. He's rid me of pain 7 times. You know, with the laser treatment, which is not only 100% painless, you don't even feel it when it's happening. And it's a very short treatment, too. There's no shots, right? No surgery, no medications, over-the-counter or prescription, no medications. And it works. It rids you of your pain. And again, he's rid me of pain 7 times. It works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. I've met so many listeners, some of them you hear in commercials on the program, who are living a pain-free life. And when I meet listeners, when I have an appearance and I meet listeners, it's kind of a funny thing. I know that they're going to talk to me about being pain-free from Dr. Appleton before they even come up and start talking, because when they walk up to me, they have a hand over a part of their body. Sometimes it's the hip, sometimes it's the elbow, sometimes it's their neck or some other part of their body. And then they come up to me and they say, Brian, I used to have so much pain right here, and I listened to you, and I went and saw Dr. Appleton, and I'm pain-free now. Yeah, I know. That's awesome. Give Dr. Appleton a call. Remember, appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian Craig. This is the Bill ABC TV from Australia.
Welcome, Australia. How you
sorry.
doing? Oh, hold on. Let me just answer some of these calls as they're coming in. All right, Bill in Australia. What's on your mind?
Firstly, I'm very sorry to hear about Charlie Kirk being murdered.
Yeah.
I'm praying for everyone over there. I blame the Democrats. People like Obama who call MAGA fascists, they are the fascists. And if I was Trump, I would have Antifa banned as a terrorist organisation. They're the problem. That's how I feel. They are the problem.
Yeah.
And they should be in jail. That's how I feel.
Yeah, no, they are. They have riled people up and incited violence time and time again.
Yes. I've said what I just wanted to say hello. That I've said everything what I wanted to say.
All right. Well, thanks for the call. That's Bill calling all the way from Australia. Wow. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on. Boy, oh boy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Job for 9 out of California. How are you, Brian?
All right. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking. I just wanted to bring to your attention, well, actually, to prove your previous point in regards to this MK Ultra sort of operation that, like legacy media, has been basically operating on the collective. I was watching Wendy Williams, and she had Trump on before he decided, obviously, to run. He was talking about about The Apprentice. The reaction from that crowd was absolutely electric and amazing. They were fawning all over from him. Where is that filmed? It's in New York.
Yeah.
He was beloved by the city. He was beloved by the people. He was beloved by basically everyone in rap, in entertainment, in this, that, and the other.
Yep.
Ever since the point that he decided that he was going to end up running for the presidency, seriously running, because previously he had verbalized contemplating it, but never had actually put his hat in the ring, so to speak. But ever since then, they have gone not only out of their way to make him look this way, that way, but the words that they have used that have ended up fountaining over onto the supporters of us being fascist, of us being racist, of us being bigots, of us being all the isms that you could ever perceive, have actually come and bitten them on the behind this time. Because Charlie Kirk exemplified being a classy individual, wanting to do one thing, have a discussion. He was not rude, condescending. I mean, even if you did not like him, and I know that there were thousands of comments in regards to people acting completely inappropriate, and many of those people are having to pay for what it is that they said and done on social media.
Yeah.
But there were also even twice as many individuals identifying themselves as Democrats and saying that they do not identify with this party, that they're disgusted by the way that these people are acting, and they're not going to be. They're not.
Well, you know what I'm starting to wonder, because obviously this assassin, who, by the way, it's not an accident. I'm not saying this guy's name, but this assassin, he obviously was Antifa, and you mentioned the MK Ultra. Is Antifa part of MK Ultra?
Well, MK Ultra is actually like a method. So
well, it's a little bit more than a method. It's a method that gets people activated to do terrible things. I've read the book.
Right. But I mean, he was of an age where he was going to college. So and Antifa has a strong presence.
Who really is Antifa, though? Who really are they? I mean, are they part of some deep state black op? I mean, this really has to be looked at. And I got to tell you, this Discord server, these shooters are all connected to these Discord servers, if you notice. They lately. Yeah. So what's going on here? with Antifa and Discord.
I don't know, but I don't know, but if you during the time of the jab and during the time of other episodes, Discord was actually kicking people off for voicing their opinions, and yet all of these other people are able to coordinate and have these discussions in regards to formulating plans and doing all this stuff.
That's right.
So I really don't know. But I just wanted to say, I know that this has been a really difficult time.
Heck yeah,
and
it has.
I just wanted to thank you once again for all of your hard work and pushing through this and assisting us in getting through this. One person actually said something really, really profound today that I really thought that I wanted to bring to your attention. They said that Charlie Kirk was this generation's JFK.
Yeah.
And it really hit home
It's
because
true.
it really did. So whatever this person did, you ended up creating a firestorm and backfiring, and there's a victory, and God bless his family, because they're in my prayers.
Well, all right, take care. Appreciate the call. Yeah, well, that's true. He is a JFK-like figure. I mean, it's really amazing, just the outpouring of support for everything Charlie Kirk and his family. I mean, we all knew, he was popular and important, but I don't think anyone, including Charlie Kirk, realized how big he is. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Good evening, Brian. This is Richie.
Just out of habit.
The truth. Yeah, it is habit. The truth will be set you free. Brian Craig has told the truth. This thing about the left calling us fascists, Nazis. Let me say what I see here. I see.
Well, hold on, Richie. Let me answer all these lines that are coming in. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Sorry.
It goes back to Obama giving in other words, I believe that most of the people in this country are decent people. We love them. We love America.
Yep.
We have fringe groups in this country. We have crazy people, the transgenders, the post nightclub people, the BLMs. They got the spotlight. Matter of fact, under Biden, Easter was stolen from Christians, and they put transgenders and mocked Easter in the White House in the Rose Garden.
I mean, and not only that. Remember, they were taking the license plates down of the parents at the school boards, arresting people for praying in front of abortion clinics, all kinds of insanity.
They cater to all these groups. Now, somebody like normal president, and he is normal. He's not a Nazi. Comes into office and wants to reverse the crap that's been put on this country, and now these crazy groups are striking back. This is terrible. By the way, I just heard that this kid was the only leftist in the family. They were all registered Republicans, and they're Republicans.
I don't know about all that. I saw this Halloween costume photograph of him where it looked like they had Trump as a demon, and it was pretty. I don't know about that. That you'll see the picture that I'm talking about. I saw it earlier. I don't know. I don't know. But I know this. Yeah, I know this, that that the arrest was at 10 o'clock last night. So when did the dad and the family know that he was the guy in the picture? I mean, come on. Give me a break.
I believe you, because the father's a cop, for God's sake. He had to have known. I mean, every cop was looking for this guy, especially in Utah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's coming out looking. Well, he did the right thing at the end, but maybe he knew right away, and he should have. If he knew right away, he should have turned him in right away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but I'm thinking, like I said, these groups. I just watched today. It'd be good after your podcast if you could go on the Englishman that has the podcast with the groups.
Yeah.
And he had the Turk on, and Turk is in denial. He was attacked on television. These politicians on the left, and they are the politicians and the media. Brian has hit it right on the head. They have told everybody that we are Nazis, and and fascists, and now they don't want to accept the responsibility.
And see, what you got to understand, and this is a very important point for people to understand. These people like this assassin, they believe that Trump is Hitler. And they believe that Charlie Kirk was the leader of the Ku Klux Klan. All right, that was their reality.
Exactly.
and it's all because of the brainwashing and conditioning from the Democrats and the liberal media. So that means that the left are inciting acts of violence. Why do you think these trans shooters have been attacking the Christian schools?
Right. Do you know why Portland is Antifa? Let them get away with it. Portland has been taken over by Antifa. It's like their city. It's their main headquarters, and they got all Democrats in there not doing a darn thing about it. It's protecting them.
Yeah.
The police in Portland are helpless. They were being attacked. I mean, this whole Antifa crap.
I'm starting to feel I don't think Antifa is this loose organization as loose as we think. There's an organization, and it may not be like an official organization, but there's an organization that is radicalizing and organizing, probably through these Discord server groups.
Yeah, well, you remember when they had the problem in Portland with the riots and they burned down the courthouse and everything?
Yeah.
They had trucks, U-Haul trucks with professional signage. And it's just disgusting. And if you look at them, I mean, they're with the purple hair, the nose rings, the earrings. They look like the dungeon worshipers. I mean, this is really sick in this country. And the Democrats have let them get away with it because the Democrats have lost control over the voters of decent people in this country. Most decent people, I have to say, if they get into politics and they see what's going on, they could never vote for a Democrat. So their constituency of these crazy people.
That's right.
I mean, it's like ridiculous. They took New York over with the gay pride parade. They gave them a month. Who gave them a month? What's that all about? You got veterans that have lost their lives. We got one day as a veteran, but the gay pride thing gets a month. There's something really whacked in this country. It's really sick, and it's the left have sold us out. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That's true. All right, Richie, take care.
Have a good afternoon.
All right, take care. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is John. I'm from Missouri.
All right, John, what's on your mind?
Well, I just, I wanted to, first of all, recognize, the death of Charlie Kirk. He was a great man, and he really didn't deserve to die for speaking his opinion. Then I wanted to ask you your opinion on, the murder of Charlie Kirk. What do you think the motive was behind it?
The motive was obvious. He's one of the most important MAGA movement leaders in this country, second only to the president. It was to try to stop our great movement. That was the motive.
Agreeable. Yeah.
What is the, it's pretty obvious what the motive is.
Yeah.
All right.
Have you heard of Ben Shapiro?
Of course, yes. All right, thanks for your call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Michael. I'm calling from Boise.
Hey, Michael, what's on your mind?
I just want to say, stop using the previous caller who used my service to bash gay people.
Who was bashing gay people? Excuse me. Who was using your service and who was bashing gay people? Nobody was bashing gay people, and I don't know what your service is.
I was an airman in the Air Force.
Oh, okay.
Comparing a Pride Month to veteran service to support your bigoted views,
Who's bigoted? Who's bigoted?
Service is a prop.
Who's bigoted?
My service is not a prop.
Who's bigoted?
For other people's views to use.
Who's bigoted? Who's a bigot?
The bigotry is banning gay people or trans people from reading to kids at libraries while allowing Catholic priests to rape kids.
Nobody allows that. No, priests are not allowed. No, nobody allows priests to do that. If they get caught, if a priest does that and they get caught, they go to prison. Why should
how come we don't have laws? How come we don't have laws
Oh, no,
allowing the top 3 people or top 3 professions that predate kids from being alone with them?
What are you talking about? School teachers? I mean, I see a lot of stories about
Correct.
school teachers.
Correct. Yes, Brian. Correct. School teachers.
So what do you want to do?
Religious leaders.
You want to ban
and camp counselors.
Well,
I'll say it again. Actually, number one is actually religious leaders.
I don't know about that. You know, this is the thing. People that are sicker.
You can look it up on bishopaccountability.org.
I don't have to look it up. I don't have to look it up. Listen, people that are creeps, right? These low-life scumbag perverts that you're talking about, right? What they do, they find jobs where they can be alone with children so that they can act on their sicko fantasies. It's not the fault of the schools or the church, you know. That's just where creeps go, right? Because they have access to children, and no one approves of that, and there's laws against it.
You're absolutely right about that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
What I disagree with is politicians using that, addressing these non-issues like drag queens reading to children in public libraries.
Drag queens should not be reading to children. Why would a drag queen want to? Why is that appropriate to? Let me explain to you. I could ask you a question. I'm just going to tell you. I really don't want to dance around on this issue.
Why would a drag queen is not a stripper? You guys everybody thinks they're like strippers or it's sexual, and it's not. Listen,
drag queen. You know, like drag shows and stuff. You know, that is adult entertainment. It's not for children, and it doesn't mean that it's bad. But there are a lot of things that are adult entertainment. As an example, would it be appropriate for a Hooters girl in her Hooters uniform to read to young children in a library?
It's not something I would champion.
Okay, now slow down. So why? Okay, so that so a Hooters girl is not a stripper. So why would it be inappropriate? Why would it be inappropriate for a Hooters girl in her uniform to read to young children at a library or at a school? Why would that be inappropriate?
Because the origin of the Hooters girl is to attract men to come to Hooters.
Well, it's adult. It's
the origin of drag queens is not to attract people. It's to.
Sure.
We're going to have to look up the history of drag.
I don't need to look up the history of drag. Both of them are adult entertainment. They shouldn't be outlawed, but they're not. Drag is adult entertainment, and the reason that they want to read to young children is they're looking to recruit and normalize themselves to young children. It's a form of brainwashing. I have no problems with drag queens and drag shows.
I can see why conservatives would think this way. I can see why conservatives would think this way, but why would we sign on as something so crazy and lunatic?
It is crazy because think about it. Why all of a sudden we wake up one day a couple years ago, and all you liberals want to all of a sudden have drag queens reading to little kids in libraries and schools. All of a sudden, out of the blue, what do you think? Why all of a sudden do drag queens want to do that?
You say all of a sudden, but have you seen Some Like It Hot starring Marilyn Monroe?
That wasn't. That's not about drag queens.
About drag queens.
No, it's not.
About drag.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I've seen Some Like It Hot many times. Some Like It Hot is about a couple of guys that are afraid they're going to get murdered, and they go undercover as they hide out as women. It's not about drag queens. You need to go back. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. He needs to go back and watch Some Like It Hot. He never considered a thing about the Hooters. I want to talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas and annuities for a moment. You know, Jupiter Joe Thomas and annuities, absolutely amazing. You know, with annuities, I don't understand why everyone's not in annuities. With annuities, your money is never at risk. Never at risk. No matter what happens in the stock market, no matter what happens in the economy, your money is never at risk. Your nest egg is always safe. No other investment can guarantee that, but annuities do. And on top of that, with an annuity, you're guaranteed a revenue stream every month for the rest of your life in your retirement. Pretty good deal, huh? Who can't use an extra income stream? You got it with your annuity. Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call. He's offering free phone consultations and in-person consultations. And so no matter where you are in the United States, you can have a free phone or Zoom consultation with Jupiter Joe Thomas. If you're local here in Florida, you can take advantage of it in person. Give him a call, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. That's 561-743-0999. And if you missed the number, just go to his website, jupiterjoe.com. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Fantastic. Thank you. My name is John. I'm calling from the state of Rhode Island.
All right. Hold on. Let me answer these lines. Okay. All right. Go ahead, John in Rhode Island.
Yes. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate you. Let me just start off a couple of quick statements. Trump is absolutely wonderful. He's had my vote 3 times. I'm open to giving it a 4th. I'd like to just address the elephant in the room, and I hope that you'll give me the opportunity to do that. There is a very small margin that's keeping our beloved President Donald Trump from rising or perhaps surpassing the JFK level.
What are you talking about? I mean, JFK, he's more popular than President Kennedy was. That's why he was in That's why he was in Dallas, because he was afraid of losing the South in his reelection. Come on.
Right, and I am absolutely a supporter of him. I just want to draw.
But what I'm telling you is, though, President Trump is more popular than JFK was, because JFK was assassinated. He's been put up on a higher pedestal. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. And I think my elephant in the room here will help to clarify what I meant.
All right.
JFK was willing to accept this reality and take this on head on. Now, what I have a problem with is the fact that, and I know that Trump sees this, that we have a serious problem in our government with AIPAC. AIPAC
the Jews? You don't like Jews? You don't like the Jews?
Millions of dollars.
Okay, hold on. You don't like the Jews? That's it?
That's absolutely not what I said. I said that
AIPAC, that's a code word. AIPAC is the Israeli lobby.
Right, but if you'd let me explain what my point is instead of assuming...
Well, not everybody knows what AIPAC is. I'm letting people know that are listening that may not know what it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right. AIPAC is the Jewish-Israeli lobby.
That's correct.
More Israeli lobby than Jewish lobby. And what I specifically and only have a problem with is that no one outside America should wield the power of millions of dollars being gifted to our politicians, therefore indebting them. Do you know that every congressman has an AIPAC handler that they answer to?
Wait a minute. When you listen, I don't know about that. That's a new one that they answer to.
Okay.
What does that mean? What do you mean? They have
so
there's no publicized. Yeah, just now by you. So every congressman has a Jew that oversees them that they have to report to. I mean, come on.
No, wait a minute. This is easily verifiable.
Where are you calling me from? Like Munich, 1936 or something? I mean, what is this?
AIPAC has every politician has an AIPAC handler.
Listen, what AIPAC is? Hold on, slow down. Let's be serious here, okay? I will agree with you. I will agree with you on this. Back in the olden days before we were alive, the members of Congress were chosen by their state legislatures. House members and senators were chosen by the state legislatures. And I can't remember when they changed that offhand, what year they changed that. But when they changed that, and the Congress was, when they were chosen by the state legislature, they were removed from Washington. But when they changed that and just made it like the elections like we have today, they're all based in D.C. Right. They don't care about us, and we have a lobbyist problem. And almost every single
Thank you.
Okay, almost every single lobby group has what you said. If they got money.
Right.
They have
wrong.
you know, so it's not just AIPAC, okay? It's all of them.
It's not. It is all of them. I absolutely agree with you. The only reason I'm singling out AIPAC is
because you don't like Jews. I know.
Billions of our dollars are being funneled to a war that is against American
I'll tell you
morals.
this
It's
about
against the will of
listen.
the people.
Okay, listen. I'll tell you this. A couple things. While I do support Israel, I always have and I always will.
Do you know that,
let me
Trump
finish.
recently passed a law that an American can't receive FEMA federal funding if they don't sign a contract?
Yeah, listen.
That
I'm
they will not.
Hold on. You're interrupting while I'm trying to speak. You know, or you know. But listen. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I always will support Israel, and I do support Israel. And they had this god-awful attack. Israel has gotten themselves, you know, and I'm not the only one who has said this. What Gaza has become, President Trump's even talked about this, what Gaza has become for Israel is a Vietnam-like situation. And they had the world on their side. This is what the president said. And this has been going on too long. And everyone wants it to stop, and they've lost public support. Now, so far as the money we give them, one thing about Israel, okay, and I'm not saying that this is right or wrong, but I just want to tell you, Israel, okay, the money that we give to Israel, we get a huge chunk of it back, because all of the weapons that Israel uses in their military, we do not give them to Israel. They buy them from us. Now, you may say, well, they're buying them.
That's not exactly accurate. There is no wait a minute. Yeah. There's no mandate that they have to spend that money here. They can buy from whoever they want.
But they do. No, but they buy a lot. Well, they buy weapons from us. So we get a lot of the money, right. a lot of the money we give to Israel, we get back in the form of weapons purchases. You know, Ukraine doesn't buy the weapons we've been giving them to them. Israel buys the weapons from us. Right. Now, they buy them with our money, but the money comes back and it does get fed back into the economy. So it's, you understand what I mean? So there is a give back in that.
They're using money that the taxpayers gifted them. They also use it to fund things like universal free health care that we don't even have. We're $37 trillion in debt. We can't afford to be giving tens of billions of dollars.
I understand.
Well,
listen, I'm gonna move on. But I do appreciate you calling, and we've had a pretty good discussion. We're not going to agree completely, but there's some
not on everything.
Yeah, but that's okay.
But thank you for the time.
That's okay. That's America.
It is okay.
That's okay. All right, take care.
Agreed.
Take care. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Ethan. I'm calling from New York. I wanted to just ask you a couple questions surrounding Charlie Kirk and some problematic ideas that he had, in my opinion.
Okay.
I mostly just wanted to hear your thoughts on it, and I have, quotes if you'd like those. But namely surrounding that of the Great Replacement Theory. Mm-hmm. I wanted to know how, you are trying to garner, I don't even know, empathy for his death, which I do think, it's sad that he died and that his family has to go through that. But that being said, having people feel sad for someone who supported such reprehensible ideas.
What reprehensible? Okay, pick the most reprehensible idea of Charlie Kirk's.
The Great Replacement Theory.
Oh no, that theory was a fact. That's what they were trying to do. That's why they opened up the entire southern border and brought tens of millions of foreigners into the country. This is what happened. Okay,
so,
let me explain it to you.
Would you mind,
I'm going to explain what was going on with the Democrats. Okay. The Democrat Party is fading away with the American people. They have lost large chunks of the key demographics that they need to win elections. With Charlie Kirk and Turning Point, they've lost the youth vote and at numbers that never was even imagined possible. Many blacks vote Republican now. Even gays vote Republican, okay? They've lost a lot of Jews that were strong Democrat voters in the past. And they lost the working class and the middle class, the Democrats, which is something they had in their back pocket with the Clinton years and before. And the Democrats realized, there were a few things that happened here, but one of them is this. They realized that they're done with the American people, and they're pretty pissed off at the American people. So they were bringing in a peasant class of foreigners through the southern border, setting them up here with a life, right? Section 8 housing, all this stuff, education and free health care and everything else. And this got ramped up when Obama was president, when he was bringing Muslims here by the millions. That's why Ilhan Omar and others are in Congress now. So no, the Great Replacement theory it's reprehensible, yeah, that they were trying to do it, the Democrats, and it's been stopped.
So I think that's like a super interesting thing that you just said there, because, if you look at the actual voter demographics, a majority of college-age white people are the ones that are voting the Democrats in.
Not anymore. No, that's old stuff. That's why they killed. That's why they killed Charlie Kirk, because he had been turning the youth vote Republican, MAGA. President Trump won
Who killed Charlie Kirk? Who is that?
I've been saying this all week, okay? The same people that killed President Kennedy, Senator Bobby Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and who shot the president in Butler, Pennsylvania, and tried to do it again at the golf course here in Florida, those are the people that assassinated Charlie Kirk. Same people.
Yeah. So I also would want to go back to
this is a patsy
saying that the Democrats. So I think you're under the assumption that I'm a Democrat when you're trying to switch it to the focal point being the Democrats doing something.
No, you told me that the most reprehensible opinion of Charlie Kirk's was his on the Great Replacement theory, and I was explaining how it's the Great Replacement fact.
Well, so I think you saying that it's a fact is also pretty reprehensible, because that's
reprehensible.
It's just not true. The evidence does not support that.
Why did Biden? Okay, then why did Biden bring 25 million illegals into the country in the last 4 years?
Can you provide me the link to the evidence for that?
The President of the United States, Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, Tom Homan, and others in the administration have repeatedly talked about this.
So someone talking about something, an empirical
Well, they are the ones that have the information. They are the ones who know, and they've been deporting people by the plane load and boatload. Yeah, it's true. I mean, if you can't if you cannot, and we could physically see it at the southern border. I mean, if you can't even accept that they were bringing in millions of illegals, I mean, how can I talk to you? You're not accepting that. You're saying don't believe your lying eyes.
I think we live in two very different realities.
Yeah, I live in reality, and you live in a fantasy world.
I don't live in a fantasy, because I can see the writing on the wall for both the Democrats and the Republicans. If you were actually living in a reality, you would be able to see that it isn't either of the Democrats or the Republicans that have your best interests in mind, because both of them answer to the billionaire ruling class. It doesn't matter who you vote for at the end of the day.
Trump is a billionaire.
Yeah, sure.
You don't think he's a billionaire?
I think he's probably a billionaire now. I don't think when he went in office, he probably could have liquidated his assets and had $1 billion.
Yeah, no, he was worth 10 when he was elected the first time. His net worth was $10 billion. Hey, listen, welcome to the program, and make sure you subscribe. All right, take care. I mean, if he can't, listen. All opinions are welcome here, as long as you're, a decent person. I don't mind talking the leftist, but when I'm talking to someone who can't accept that they were bringing millions of illegals into the country, that's don't believe your lying eyes, and that Trump's not a billionaire. I mean, how can I, have a conversation? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air once.
Hello.
Yes, you just made it.
My name is. Thank you. My name is Daniel. I'm from Romania.
Romania?
Yes.
All right. Welcome.
Yes, actually.
Welcome.
Thank you. I wanted to talk about the people that just mock Charlie, that, you know, they're just being really bad people. I've really wanted to know, why would you go on a public account that you made for personal use and say all these hateful things? They're sure that 100% are going to be consequences. And
I don't know what you're talking. Who are you talking about that said hateful things?
You know, I go on, you know, just videos on Instagram, YouTube. People are mocking his death.
Those lunatics. Yeah, because they're crazy. You're talking about Democrats. Liberal Democrats have lost their minds in this country. Are you in Romania or the United States now?
Oh no, I'm in Romania.
You're in Romania. Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, I'm embarrassed that people around the world are seeing this. I mean, you know, in the United States, liberal Democrats are insane because they've lost power. Trump's reelection from a non-consecutive term, the Democrat Party is basically non-existent, and the few Democrats that are left are crazy people.
The few Democrats that are left are in positions of power. They're the only ones that believe what they're voting for. Okay. What I want to talk about to you is, you're a pretty big streamer, and today's topic is, you know, Charlie, you know, politics. Now, I've came across this website. Now, I don't want to say it right now, but there is a website where you can make a submission to, you know, type the name of someone who said these things, you know, just public information. And I want to know if you would be okay with, you know, disclosing this website.
No, I don't know. I don't want to give out a website I'm not familiar with. I just don't do that with anyone. Just because I don't know. It could be Nazis. I don't know. I'm not saying it is, but you know what I mean?
I don't know either. It's just HTML, but
no, please don't give out the website. But just share what you want to share. Share your opinions.
Well, about what? About the website?
Well, what is the issue you wanted to talk about that's on the website?
No. Well, it says here that there have been around 20,000 submissions so far. I don't know if it's that popular. I don't know. It's gonna be compiled at like the end of the week or something, and they're just gonna make this information, the public information, just as public.
I don't know what. I really know what you're talking about. Well, listen, I do appreciate your call, and you call me again sometime. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Take care. All right. Thanks so much. Nice guy from Romania. I don't think I get calls from all over the world. I think that might be my first call from Romania. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, they gave up before they started. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good evening, Brian. This is Tim from Lake Worth.
Hey, Tim. What's on your mind?
Hey, yeah, I told you once before that I'm a conservative and I'm 110% MAGA. But I have a question for you, and I want you to bear with me for a moment. This is going to make sense.
Okay.
If you had $1 to bet, just $1, you had no more money to your name, and if you lose that dollar. But if you win, if you make the right decision, that dollar multiplies by 1 million, and you eat and you have a home for the rest of your life, a roof over your head. What happened in Butler, Pennsylvania, may I say that I was born and raised just a little over a half hour from there. But that doesn't have anything to do with it. What happened in Butler, Pennsylvania, if you had to bet that dollar and you found out after you made the bet that the facts come out and the truth comes out about the whole thing, if you had to bet that dollar, would you bet that punk was a lone gunman, or would you say you would bet that dollar that something more sinister took part?
No, listen, I believe that the guy in Butler, the golf course assassin, and this one are all patsies like Lee Harvey Oswald. I do believe that there's a larger conspiracy behind all of it. And with this kid, there's something going on with Antifa and Discord, you know, and both of the Trump assassins have all kinds of connections. They both had Ukrainian connections, and they were I always forget the name. What's that conservative company? They both were in videos for that Republican company. BlackRock. BlackRock. Okay,
yes,
the kid,
yes,
the shooter from Butler was in a BlackRock video about teachers, and the golf course shooter, assassin who's on trial right now here in Florida in Fort Pierce, he was in a BlackRock video about Ukraine. And I,
yes,
you know, and I think that, there was a wider conspiracy with that. Mm-hmm.
And I am 100% with you. I'd bet my dollar that this goes really, really deep. But let's look at what happened to Charlie. How similarly eerie is this? When it first came out, the first video of you seeing him laying on the roof, if you can remember, were those two guys talking. And the guy takes his finger on his phone and says, I saw him run from here to here, and now he's laying up there, okay? And since that happened, many more videos of people that were there have come out that's showing him running across and taking position.
Yep.
Now, how is it that nobody in Charlie's security and no security other than Charlie's security and police that were there noticed this? But all these people noticed this. How similar is this to what happened in Butler?
Oh, it's in many ways it's a carbon copy. It's like they used the same plan but just upped it a little bit. You know what I mean? They just refined it. Because they did.
That's all. Yeah. That's all they do. When nothing works, they go back to racism. They go back to calling people Hitlers and bigots and everything else. But I want to say something about Dana from Fox. She's nothing but a mouthpiece.
Dana Perino.
She's a scumbag. She's a scumbag. She always was. And let's not forget who she worked for. Mm-hmm. Baby Bush. That piece of crap, Baby Bush. And I'm a conservative saying that.
No, I agree with you.
I'm a conservative.
No, you're right. You're right.
But I'm telling you, this is what I believe. I could be wrong here, but what I believe is people gotta stop talking about the left's rhetoric, okay? And you got to start calling it for what it is. It is the left doing this. Yeah. It's not their rhetoric. Yeah. The left is doing this.
Well, what they do,
there's
a lot of things. What they do is they brainwash the youth, they brainwash people into thinking, fascist, Hitler, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then they recruit them, and this kid obviously somehow was recruited by Antifa, either in the Discord group or by somebody on the campus. And I'll tell you, a guy like that, you look at him, he's a dork. They get a girl that's pretty, and he all of a sudden he's on the roof. You know what I mean? It's not that hard.
Yes. I'll tell you, Brian, I do not buy this story at all.
No,
I do not buy this story at all.
And if you notice, all the law enforcement agencies that were at that press conference that were congratulating each other, none of them got this guy. He was turned in by his daddy. Okay, none of what they did. Come on.
Yep, and one other thing, I only watched it once. I'm going to go back and watch it again. When the governor from Utah mentioned, and let's not forget, he's a weirdo. He's into all this crap. But anyway, that's for another day. But when he was talking, he mentioned, correct me if I'm wrong, and I only watched it once, he mentioned that he was a lone gunman and he acted on his own. He said that. I swear to God, he said it. And I
heard it. I was surprised to hear that. I was surprised. I was surprised that they haven't done an investigation yet. They just found out who he was last night. So, how could they determine that at this point? Give me a break.
Yes, Correct. This is the point I'm trying to make. How do they know all this? And if you look at Kash Patel, he looked like, man, there's lying going on here, and I have to just stand here and take it.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Listen, I've been pretty critical of Kash Patel, but what you said makes...
I know you have.
But what you just said is very possible. Listen, this kid, this is what you got to understand. This kid, this monster assassin, may not even know he's part of a bigger plan, right? He was...
That's right.
But no, I still stand by that. And I stand by that because, I was talking about it this week, yesterday. And this has been talked about today. The last political assassination in this country like this was Martin Luther King in 1968. And Martin Luther King was a great man with a great movement. But after he died, that movement has had nothing but scumbags. Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, Black Lives Matter. Johnny Cochran had a little run with the OJ. It's been run by charlatans, con men, and just terrible people. And I'm not saying that's going to happen to. I'm not saying that's going to happen to Turning Point. Turning Point, I found out from Don Jr. yesterday, has a $200 million a year operating budget, and it's got a lot of good people in it. However, the people that took out Charlie Kirk don't understand that. Okay, they are rerunning what they did to Martin Luther King, and they tell themselves, well, the civil rights movement basically ended in 1968, which it did. This movement will end with Charlie being gone. And that's what they tell themselves.
Yeah, that's the way it is. That's the way it is with evil, with the devil. And I truly believe we're in a spiritual war. That's the way it is with evil. They just keep going over and over and over. When something doesn't work, they come up with another. When something else doesn't work, and then when it all falls apart, they go back to the beginning. Mm-hmm. That's all they ever do. They have nothing else because they're evil. People, I just hope that people start to understand that what's going on in the world today is not in the human realm anymore. It's a spiritual thing. It is without a doubt. Too many people think of the Bible as old stories. It's not old stories. It's not called the book of life for no reason. It's your life. It's every day it happens.
And there's only, I can't remember the exact number. Shakespeare said there's only, 16 plots, or is it even less? I don't know how many plots. Listen, Making America Great Again, and they're like, oh, make it great for who? Look at these lunatics were the ones that would have been running the ones celebrating the assassination of this of the great Charlie Kirk. These were the people that would have been running the country if Trump had not been reelected. That's what President Trump saved this country. That's what Making America Great Again is about. Purging us of having these insane people, these demonic people running this country.
You know what's sad? And I'm not picking on the people because there are good people on the left. They believe in the left.
Really? Can you
They're just not as crazy.
Really? I don't know about that. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, they're just not as crazy. They were born into it.
Yeah.
I'm talking a lot of the older people.
Yeah.
When they saw the left standing up for the working man many, many years ago and things like that, even though the left has been corrupt for a long time. But what is sad, when America does become great again, which it's going to, I truly believe that when it becomes great again, they're going to reap the benefits.
Yeah.
All these people, just like you and I, but we will be happy and they will still be miserable.
That's right. Well, listen, I've got to run, but I appreciate the call. And you guys, you notice when I'm not on doing the radio show, when I'm off the radio, I can have a little deeper conversation. I'm not I don't have the time pressures that I do during the radio show. You know what I mean?
I understand. Hey, you have a good evening now. Pray for Charlie.
Absolutely. If you're on hold, hang in there. And if you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. It's toll free no matter where you're watching. We got a call from Romania, got a call from Australia. It's and of course all over America. I want to take a moment though to talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. If you're in the state of Florida, give Tom Laporta a call if you got a wet spot on your ceiling. It's hurricane season, and it rains every day. Oh my goodness, it's been raining all day this day here at my home in Florida. If you've got a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof, you want to call Tom Laporta. Tom Laporta covers the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. He's a good MAGA guy, and he'll never sell you a roof you do not need. If you need a simple repair, he'll do it. I know that for a fact. I have talked to many listeners who thought they needed a new roof, and Tom Laporta from Laporta Roofing came out and said, no, you just need a repair. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, it is. Well, he's a MAGA guy. What do you expect, right? Integrity, honesty. And he handles every type of structure and every type of roofing material as well. Residential, commercial, and even municipal. He even does church roofs. And he gives our listeners his cell phone number. Now, you can go to his website, LaportaRoofing.com. And when you go to LaportaRoofing.com, that's the number for the office, and you're welcome to call that number. But if you want to get Tom Laporta himself, call or text on his cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. That's 954-604-4602. All right, back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Robert. I'm calling from Arizona.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, I just wanted to just kind of talk, obviously, about Charlie. We all saw the video, and I don't always agree with all the things that he said, but seeing someone who I've seen hours of footage of, having, I'm actually originally from Oregon, so moving out of a very left side state actually gave me some unique perspectives, I think, especially now that I'm living in the desert now. And I have to say it's been one of those things where it's taught me a lot about, compassion and everything, but it also taught me the fact that there's so many people out there who just want other people to fail. And the reality is that when you're speaking about someone who has truth in their heart, it's what they believe their truth is. And to be removed for just speaking. He's not someone in power who can affect laws and all that kind of stuff. He's just someone. In all reality, he's a very successful YouTuber. So I just wanted to say,
because you're calling from Charlie Kirk country, right? You're calling from Arizona. And, I wonder, because we Republicans have had some problems in Arizona when it comes to winning elections, and the ghost of John McCain is strong, and you got Hobbs out there. Will this change in Arizona? Will the assassination of Charlie Kirk red pill Arizona?
I think it is, and it's funny because it really changed, obviously, in the last couple of years, just before we got here, and it was kind of shocking how divisive it's been when we moved here during COVID, actually. And not even just the environment, but it was like moving from Earth to Mars. It was a completely different gear shift for me. But in all reality, in fact, even if I'm for the red side, it was almost overwhelming how different it was. You can't have Trump flags in Oregon. That's just, you're going to get in trouble, So, but it's just one of those things where it's like, I definitely think that, if this is a left side thing, that they definitely, they made a martyr of him at the very least.
Yeah.
They only fueled this. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, listen, thanks for the call. Well, welcome to, are you new to me? Did you just find my program?
Yes.
Oh, well, great. Well, welcome, and make sure you subscribe.
Yeah, will do. Thank you so much.
All right, take care. Yeah, those of you that are new, welcome. And when I'm live streaming from the studio, because I live stream all the time, but I live stream in the studio, I always take live calls. Everyone is welcome to call, regardless of your political background, okay? And all the calls I take, these are screenless and unvetted. When you call in, I just put you on hold. And when I say, you're on the air, what's your name, where are you calling from? That's the first time I know who's on hold. And all opinions are welcome. All right. And the number's toll free. It's pinned in the live chat if you're watching live. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, Brian Craig.
Yes.
Stephen Pecorella in Chicago.
Hey, Chicago. What's up? How you been?
Hi. I just wanted to say, all this violence that's been happening, the Minneapolis, the Ukrainian girl, Charlie Kirk. It's an evil, a growing evil that's especially in this country. And when I last called, you were with Steve, and I mentioned the same thing. And you said, Trump's taking care of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
I know Trump is doing the best he can, but this world, it needs help, and it's not going to get help until Jesus Christ comes. This is all in the Bible. It's getting worse and worse in the world. I'm not nervous. I'm thankful because I know in the end Jesus is on his way. And that's it. I just wanted to say that.
Okay, well, I appreciate that, and you're right.
And, okay, listen, you're doing a great job, of course. Keep going. I've been a fan of Trump since the mid-'70s. I've always been a fan of his.
Well, that's great.
And he's doing a great job, but in the world, it's not going to get cured until Jesus Christ comes. He's doing a great job, Trump, with America right now.
Mm-hmm. He sure is. He sure is.
But I will stand on Jesus Christ, period.
All right, me too. Me too.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. All right, have a
Bye.
great bye-bye. Have a great weekend. All right. If you're on hold, hang in there. This is interesting. This Utah governor, I don't know too much about him. I've watched his press conference. I was a bit annoyed at him today, where he just definitively said there's no other shooters. This is it, lone gunman. I don't know how we could determine that without any investigation. But it turns out that Charlie Kirk hated this guy, that they've had some feud. There's an article here. I'm going to go through this. And maybe this is why Cash was acting so strange, because maybe he doesn't like the governor either. And maybe the governor was hogging the podium from Cash the other night, huh? This is the Daily Mail. MAGA slams governor. Republican revolt over Utah governor after explosive Charlie Kirk feud revealed. This is the first time I've heard about this. Utah Governor Spencer Cox, with an X, basked praise for his unity plea at Friday's FBI press conference, but the man whose alleged assassin he was discussing once wanted him expelled from the Republican Party. Governor Cox dominated the podium. He sure did, and this is an interesting thing. Maybe I was wrong about Cash Patel this morning. Cox dominated the podium, detailing Charlie Kirk's murder just 3 years after the Turning Point founder branded the governor a weak moderator who should be expelled from the Republican Party. So Charlie Kirk wanted the governor of Utah out of the Republican Party. The 2022 social media blast came after Governor Cox vetoed a bill banning biological males from women's sports. Holy smokes. He's a pro-men and women's sports guy, the governor. A move that infuriated Charlie Kirk and conservative activists. Holy smokes. Now friends of the slain see, this is starting to make some sense about Cash Patel last night seeming so off at the press conference, doesn't it? Now friends of the slain activist find it ironic that the same governor Charlie Kirk wanted kicked out of the GOP pushed aside FBI officials to control the narrative around the death. He did hog that podium at the press conference. The feud ran deeper. Governor Cox also threatened to veto a statewide ban on transgendered surgeries for minors, prompting Charlie Kirk to accuse the governor of being paid off by Big Pharma, who make billions off hormone blockers and chemical castration. Holy smokes. Yet on Friday, in a stunning about-face, Governor Cox opened the press conference by claiming he was inspired by Charlie Kirk's writings and beliefs, urging the dead activist followers to let their anger fade. The governor's sudden reverence for a man who savaged him as corrupt rang hollow to those who remember their bitter public battles. My young friends out there, you are inheriting, this is the governor, you are inheriting a country whose politics feels like rage. It feels like rage is the only option. But through those words, we have a reminder that we can choose a different path, Governor Cox said, pleading with Charlie Kirk supporters to find an off-ramp or it's going to get much, much worse. While Charlie Kirk made his name, I'm reading from the Daily Mail, by the way. While Charlie Kirk made his name by promoting the MAGA movement and ideas on social media, Governor Cox warned young people that social media is a cancer. I would urge people to log off, turn off, and touch grass, he noted. He doesn't mean marijuana. I think he means like outside in your yard. Pundits immediately praised Governor Cox's performance while contrasting it with that of President Trump, who blamed the left for the violence. Governor Cox has promoted more civility in politics. Let me skip down a little bit. Governor Cox's remarks angered the great Steve Bannon. We all love Steve Bannon, who spoke to the Daily Mail after his press conference. Spencer Cox is a national embarrassment in a time where we need action. He tells us to sing Kumbaya and hold hands with Antifa, Steve Bannon said. While the good and decent Charlie Kirk lies in a mortuary awaiting burial, he tells us to invite Democrats over for a cookout. The radical left that burns Portland daily and shoots up school kids weekly, Bannon went on. This is not a time for pontificating. This is a time to declare Antifa a domestic terrorist organization. I agree with Bannon on that. And have the FBI go kick down some doors, Bannon added. Yeah. So that's something. I did not know that. Now we know. Yeah, I'm going to read Charlie Kirk's books. I've never read any of his books, but I'm going to read his book. I want to start with the more recent one and work my way back. I went to get the most recent one last night. I'm going to get it on my Kindle. This may be not the case now, but as of last night, it was sold out, which is a good thing. But the Kindle can't be sold out, and I like reading on Kindle a lot anyway. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's Michael out in California. How are you doing?
The best I can be doing.
Likewise. It's been a while since I called your show. Actually, I've been a fan of yours
since
2015 when
Awesome.
President Trump walked down the escalator. But Charlie Kirk came out to a couple of towns over from me, and spoke at a local church. A couple of friends of mine and my brother were supposed to go see him speak, and one of the friends in our group text was a little uncomfortable of going to we love Charlie Kirk, but she was a little uneasy and felt a little uneasy about going to see him speak, knowing the magnitude and the heat that's going on right now in the country and how things are right now. And now I understand why now she didn't want to go.
Sure.
But this was an indoor event that he was speaking at, and it's a lot safer, I feel, indoors than it is outdoors. And I don't understand why his security detail even allowed him to go outside and not keep it inside.
Stupidity,
you know what I mean? Like,
stupidity, incompetence, and arrogance.
Yeah. Does Charlie not receive intel about threats that are potentially incoming towards his way?
All of us. I'll tell you what happens with that. All of us that are conservative people, right? All of us get threats, and what happens is you become kind of numb to them because they're so everyday. You know what I mean? And I think that's probably where he was.
Yeah, I'm still distraught over this. I should not have watched that video.
I'm sorry I saw it. I'm really upset I saw it.
I am sorry I saw it too. That's stuff you see in movies. That's because it's not real. You know what I mean? But now that you see it in real life, it affects you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not affected by this, there is something. I work in mental health. There is something. I was secretary for mental health clinicians for a correctional facility out here in California. There is something mentally wrong with you if you don't think this is not okay. You know what I mean? If you think this is fine and you're celebrating this, you need your head examined.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I disagree with that last caller about the governor of Utah. I actually really enjoyed and liked how he handled this entire situation.
Well,
I did not know
I did not know about this conflict that Charlie Kirk had with him. And it seemed.
I didn't know we had a beef with him either.
Yeah.
Actually,
Oh, yeah. While you were on hold, I went through there's a big article I just went through. It's on my X, that they've had a long-running feud going back years, and that the governor of Utah allowed males and women's sports in Utah, allowed boys on girls teams, supported sex change. Supported sex change operations for minors. And Charlie Kirk was vocal, wanted the Republican Party to excommunicate him from the party. So now that I have this information, that might be why Kash Patel was so off last night in the press conference with the governor. The governor might have been, he was hogging the podium, it looks like, and pushed Kash out.
Yeah, but I understand. I love Kash Patel, and I understand where you're a little skeptical of him, but I'm willing to give him more time because he was just burst into this role a lot like Dan Bongino, you know what I mean? Like, they're both really great men, and Dan Bongino actually does have Secret Service background, and he's put in the right place at the right time, like as deputy director at the FBI.
I hope so. Listen, a lot of us MAGA people we're frustrated over there's been no arrest, and that's frustrated a lot of us.
I also work in the law enforcement field. You have to have evidence to even arrest somebody. You know what I mean? Like, I've also been on a jury trial too. Like, there's literally evidence put in front of you to make a determination of whether to find this person guilty or not guilty. You know what I mean? Like, you got to understand that as well. Like, it's like, yes, we want to arrest, but you have to have evidence.
I get
to
that.
arrest people.
I know, but they've been there for months.
Yeah. I'm just as frustrated as everybody else. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it takes time.
Well, I'm hoping, Pam Bondi has these grand juries in place. One of them's in Florida. Pam Bondi has one of these grand juries
I love Pam.
Into the.
I had Kamala Harris as my attorney general, so you're extremely lucky.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to hear a complaint. I don't want to hear a complaint about Pam Bondi at all from anybody.
Well, she has she has a grand jury impaneled right now into the Obama coup conspirators. That's in the same courthouse as the Trump assassins on trial in Florida.
Yeah.
So
and really quick before I go, Brian. I was a huge fan of The Five when Judge Jeanine was on there.
Oh yeah.
And that show has gone completely downhill ever since she left. I don't know if you noticed that or not. Like, it's not the same anymore.
You know what I think it's like? Forgetting about Jessica Tarloff, okay? Not like what I feel like. I feel like they're all phoning it in and killing time for their other. Like, Dana Perino has her big show during the day. Jesse Waters has his primetime show. He doesn't want to burn any of his good stuff that he's going to use on that. And Gutfeld has his nighttime show. And I get really annoyed that Gutfeld is reading everything that he says. It's they're lazy. They're lazy. It's a lazy show.
All right, Brian. Will you take care, Brian? I'm sorry I can't call in. I switch my hours at work, so I go to bed like really, really early, and the time difference between California and Florida, and so.
Sure. Well, I appreciate the call.
I still listen to your show regularly. I put you on repeat all the time and listen to your show, rewind and everything like that.
Well, thank you for your support.
I appreciate what you do. Please give my regards to Kathy too. I know I'm praying for her health and everything like that and stuff.
Well, thank you. She heard you.
Know that I'm thinking about you guys all the time, and I really enjoy your show. So.
Great. She heard you.
All right, take care,
All right, take care. Yeah, those of you that are new to the program, welcome. I do this every day, live stream, take calls, and cover all the news. This is most definitely where MAGA comes to talk. And if you'd like to support my program, go to mypillow.com. Use my promo code Kane at checkout. You can use my promo code Kane at checkout on all the specials at mypillow.com, not just the ones I talk about, okay? There's great, look at this. I've been telling you, the 6-piece MyPillow towel sets are back in stock. They've been out of stock for a while because they're so good and so popular. I have these towels, and it is a great special right now with my promo code Kane at checkout. You can get the MyPillow towels for just $39.98, the whole 6-piece set. That's a $30 discount, plus there's a free shipping offer. Okay, so go to mypillow.com. Use my promo code Kane at checkout and load up and take advantage of the free shipping offer. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. And if you could also do me the favor of liking the video, that helps a lot grow the channel. My name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.